Looks like we're missing Linda. Otherwise, we could go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Hello.
Hey, Miriam.
Hey,
Here's Linda.
Okay. I don't see her, Becky.
I'm sorry, she's slow to join.
Okay.
It says join. I don't know why she has trouble with her internet.
Becky, was she trying to sign on using the meeting post one sign in?
I don't believe so. No, she's here.
Because I think I maybe accidentally signed in on that because last time I used Zoom was I was hosting.
And are you with
Set up-
us?
I see her, but I don't see a mute. Hi, Linda. Here she comes. No? Yeah, now she just needs to unmute. Hi, Linda.
Just need your camera, Linda.
Yeah,
There you are. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 5:47. This is a meeting of the Shutesbury Selectboard. It's Monday, December 6th, and we're doing this meeting via Zoom. So the first item on the agenda is for public comment, and we do this virtually all of our meetings, and we spend a few minutes hearing from the public. And for those of you who haven't been here before, what we do is we hear comments from the public, but we don't engage in any kind of back and forth. It's, an opportunity for the public to make statements, and then if there's something we need to follow up on, we can do that at a subsequent meeting. So if you can use the raise hand feature in the reactions button at the bottom of your screen, that would help me, especially if a lot more people show up. It's always easier to see those raised hands. So is there anyone this evening who would like to? I see Miriam raising her hand, not with the raise button feature, but
No, I do have it up.
you know what? It's really hard to see because it's like flesh colored way up in the. Usually, I'm used to yellow ones. Okay, so Miriam.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on the email that I sent to the board on behalf of the Conservation Commission. We had a lengthy discussion at our last meeting about this proposal to work with Kestrel to acquire a property for the town for conservation and passive recreation. The Pearson property that's on Pelham Hill Road. And before we're planning on submitting this preliminary determination of eligibility form to the CPA, because we're hoping to have some of the project funded, if it goes through some CPA funds, among other sources of funding. But the deadline for the full application is February 1st. And before we submit that, we would really like to have a conversation with the select board to make sure the select board is on board with it and doesn't have any outstanding concerns that haven't been addressed. So we're hoping we could set up a joint meeting sometime in January so that we could invite Kestrel to come, and by then we would have a much clearer idea of what the proposed budget would be, and we can give you more information about the property. I know there was an initial discussion at the last CPC meeting, but there's some new information that's come up since then, and just would like to have that conversation with the select board.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Sure.
Other comments, other public comments? If anybody else sees a hand, let me know, but I don't see any other hands. Okay, seeing no other public comments, I'm just gonna launch into reviewing the agenda for this evening's meeting. And the first item we have is the Shutesbury Athletic Club license renewals, which is a kind of series of things I think we do annually, correct, Linda?
Yes.
And including the just signing off on the memorandum of agreement, and then another bunch of things for the ABCC. After that, we're going to meet with the planning board to discuss new associate members for the planning board, go through the minutes from our last 2 meetings. And then at 6:30, we will be going into executive session, and we expect that will, so only people who have been invited and are part of the executive session can participate in that executive session. And we anticipate that will finish by 7:30. And then at 7:30, we have the continuation of the tax classification hearing with the assessors. And after that, town administrator updates. And we have a couple of appointments, reappointments to the Cultural Council, which we will fit into which were not anticipated, but we will fit into this evening's agenda. So did I miss anything, Becky or Linda?
I think you have it all.
Okay, all right, great. So why don't we go ahead and get started then? I think, Linda, you're gonna present the Shutesbury Athletic Club license renewal.
Well,
There are many documents that
there
have
are
to be
many documents,
executed.
yes. I just first would want to acknowledge that Mark Olszewski is here, and he's the president of the board of directors and the manager. So I don't know if Mark wants to say anything to start it off, or we would just go through the process.
Thank you, Linda. No, I have nothing forward to say at this point, but hopefully we have all our work and we can move forward. I know every year it's a battle, and I appreciate you working with us, Linda.
You're welcome. Okay, so there are kind of two tracks to this renewal process. So there's the ABCC documents, and then there are the local licenses. So I'd like to start off by saying, yes, it's quite a process every year to get through everything that the athletic club needs to provide. And as of this moment, we have everything that needs to be received is in place. We know we had a couple of things pending as of late this afternoon. And so one of them was the evidence that the liquor liability insurance is in place, and we have that now, and the workers' compensation as well, insurance as well, and the fire safety inspection, certificate of inspection. Walter Tibbetts, fire chief, signed off this afternoon. So all the check marks you can see on the cooperative inspection webpage, that all the check marks are in place. They just haven't actually issued the certificate of inspection yet. So we're going forward. And so SAC completed the ABCC application for multiple amendments, and that's just a generic form they have for all kinds of different amendments. And their amendment this year is a change of directors. So Mark, maybe you want to say who the new people are?
Oops, you're muted, Mark.
Sorry about that. Yeah, sure, we have 4 new members on the board. Jen Boron, Jason Boron, Julio Mendez, and Mike
Oh,
Fenton. I'm sorry, Mike Fenton.
Oh, right, yes, Mike Fenton, okay. Okay, so, all right. Okay, so they've applied, they have filled out their application for the change of directors. And Jen did all of that. And so okay. So the first document that you would, as a select board, well, first you have to consider whether you want to reissue the renew and reissue their club license, which is their license, a club license to sell and sell all kinds of alcoholic beverages. So that's the local license that you issue. And along with that, you have to fill out or sign a form that is called the Licensing Authority Certification by ABCC. So maybe you could start with that.
You want to vote?
Yeah, start with the Licensing Authority Certification.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the Licensing Authority Certification?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye.
Thank you. Okay, and then so the second aspect of that, we'll stay with the ABCC for right now. The second is the renewal certification form, which basically is where, this is more applicable to a larger municipality, because that's the form that had a lot of blanks on it that I sent you. And it's basically licensees who failed to renew or licensees who are disapproved. And what you would be signing, because there aren't any in those categories, that you certify that the premises described in the 2022 renewal applications are now occupied, used, or controlled by the licensee and will be on January 1, 22. And so that you have approved their renewal application. So that's what it is. There's nothing listed because we don't have anything in either of those categories.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the
Renewal certificate.
certificate?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye.
Thank you. And then the last ABCC form that you'll be signing off on is called the 2022 Seasonal Population Increase Estimation Form. And this is again, like for a much larger municipality that might have a greater number of people come in that would allow them to qualify for another license. So in our case, this is not applicable because we don't have a lot of, that's not what we have.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to, you just have to remind me what it is, Linda?
It's a seasonal population.
Seasonal population. Okay, the seasonal population estimate.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye.
Okay, so the next step is the club license. Now, you know, in the past, the select board has often issued their, you know, voted to approve the license. And then, you know, then everything, all the ABC documents go in, and then, you know, once we're through that process, then ABCC says, yes, you're approved. So it's up to you if you want to issue the club license now, and then it would be go into effect the first of the year.
And what if we didn't do it? But
Then what would happen is that, you know, ABCC sometimes doesn't review everything until after the first of the year.
I see. So they wouldn't be able to operate.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So that's kind of how it works. You know, sometimes it's really fast, but sometimes it isn't. Like last year we went through, you know, we had a lot of things, that paperwork that we had to resubmit last year.
Right.
It
So is it a
depends on-
renewal of the license? Is that
it's issuing the club license.
club license? Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the issuance of the Shutesbury Athletic Club license?
So moved.
So moved. A second, sorry.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye.
Okay, all right. We're getting there. Okay, so the next set are the, and Mark, please, you know, weigh in whenever, if there's something, you know, that I'm missing or you want to add in. So there are three, what we call local licenses, which are the license to operate, and these are all, I should say, these three are all, everything, the club license and the license to operate a pool table, have live entertainment, and the common victualler's license are all under statute.
Okay, but we vote them each
Separately,
individually?
yes. So you want to, you can do operate a pool table.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Yeah, so is
The
approve the license and issue, approve an
licensing.
issue, yeah.
Okay, approve and issue license to operate or to have a pool table?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye.
Okay, and the next one is to have live entertainment.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the application to have live entertainment at the
And it-
Shutesbury Athletic Club
And issue,
and issue the license? It's a license, correct?
yes, it is, yeah.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second,
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye.
Thank you. And so, and then the last one is the common victualler's license.
Okay. And Linda, just explain to us what that is.
That allows the athletic club to serve prepared and frozen food.
Okay,
That's their license. I mean, that's the portion that you issue, and then they have a process with the Board of Health, right, Mark?
Correct.
okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the application for a common victualler's license?
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, I.
Okay. I think that's everything, right, Mark?
I think so, yes.
Okay, so so I will thank you, everybody on the select board. That's a lot of documents. So I will tomorrow morning prepare a folder for you with everything that you need to sign off on, and there'll be a number of them. So I'll, label everything. And so as you're at your, convenience, if you could just come in and sign off on them. They'll be in the red folder.
Linda, is there a deadline for signing?
Just
You want it
within the next, few days, a week.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Becky?
I just want to remind the select board, because we're meeting on Monday, the warrants will not be ready till Wednesday morning. So it killed two birds with one stone, and if you come on Wednesday, you'll have the warrants plus all the SAC documents.
Okay, that makes sense.
yes.
Melissa, does that work for you to come in on Wednesday or?
Yep,
Yeah,
it does.
Eric?
Yep.
Okay, and I can come Wednesday morning.
And so there's just one other thing, and that is Mark, and I see that Jennifer Donnelly is here also now. So Jen, I just want you to know we just went through everything, and thank you for all your hard work. The one other piece, though, that is still there. So we have two lists. We have our list of documents that ABCC wants, and then there's another list for the applicants. And so there are two different, one says additional documents may be required. The other says that Corey request forms are required. So there's a few outstanding, Mark and Jen, and you have the list. So if you can make sure that those folks, Mike Fenton and the Borans, and I think Ray are the ones that are still needed. So if you can make sure those get to the town hall in the next few days, that would be great. So
Did Dot
we'll have
Glidden
them.
submit hers?
Who?
Dot Glidden?
Oh, no, you're right. Dot, yes.
There's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jen. So the last, I don't know if you want to take up the memorandum of agreement now?
Well, when is that typically done? I mean, that was sent to us, so everybody has it.
Yes.
There was nothing changed, correct?
Correct.
It was like the 2020, it was amended, but nothing this year.
Right. So nothing has changed. Mark, do you have any concerns? Did you want to make suggesting changes?
No, I not at this time. I don't think we need to make any changes at this point. I think things are going smoothly, considering the situation and everything. So, and we're continually in contact with the Board of Health as far as any requirements or updates they need us to do. So, and Linda continually sends us the updates from the state governor's office. So I think we're all set.
And it sounds like you're working well with the police at this point too.
Yep.
So which is great.
Yeah, Kristen's been very helpful.
Okay, excellent. So I think we're ready to proceed with the MOU, Rita.
I just want to make sure Melissa and Eric are okay with that. I know we got the, is it a memorandum of agreement or a memorandum?
Yes.
Memorandum of agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, so Melissa and Eric, are you comfortable with going ahead? Okay. All right, so do I hear a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement as circulated to the select board?
I so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye. Okay, does that cover it, Linda?
I think so. Jen and Mark, do you, anything else?
I just, Do I need to come in to sign anything at this point, or am I all set?
Okay, so once, thank you for asking, Mark. Once it will be the Rita as the chairperson who will sign off on the memorandum of agreement. And once she's done that, then I'll be in touch and I'll have it, set aside with me, where you can pick it, where you can come in and sign that.
Okay. All right, great, thank
Okay,
you.
thanks.
Okay, so I think we have completed the Shutesbury Athletic Club license renewals. Another year down. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. It's a kind of tedious process to go through, tedious but important process to go through every year. And
Thank you
thanks,
both.
Mark and Jen, for coming this evening. You're welcome to stay.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you for working with us on this. Thank you
Okay.
for coming.
Great. All right, so we have just 4 minutes before we're scheduled with the planning board, and I see a number of the planning board members, at least a couple of them here already, but why don't we go ahead and do the cultural council reappointments? Does that make sense?
Sounds great.
Who's going to present that? Or do you want me to just say who they are?
Yes, I don't believe they're here tonight. I
No.
know
Okay.
that Rory Valentine was happy to have them agree to work on the cultural council again. But I do not see her here, so.
Yeah, no, she just asked if you would be willing to make the appointments tonight because they're planning to meet soon. And,
Okay.
they're on a different cycle as their terms are defined by the state cultural
Okay.
council.
Okay, so it's Rory Valentine and Val Gilman, is that correct?
Actually, no, it's Becca Wheeler.
Oh, okay,
Retroactive to 10/2/21.
okay,
And then Val Gilman, retroactive to 10/16/21.
so it's, what was Val's?
10/16,
10/16, and Becca was
10/2.
10/02, okay. So we'll take them separately and go ahead and vote. So do I hear a motion to reappoint Val Gilman to the Shutesbury Cultural Council?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, any discussion?
Mm-mm.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye. And the second one is Becca Wheeler. So do I hear a motion to appoint Becca Wheeler to the Shutesbury Cultural Council?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye. Okay, I'm just doing a time check here. So it's 6:14. Do we have a quorum of the planning board?
Not yet.
I don't think so. I think they have 3. Jeff,
Okay.
Nate, and Michael DiChiara.
Okay,
Am I missing anyone?
Yeah, I don't see anyone in the waiting room either.
Deacon left me a phone message just recently and saying that they have power out
No.
at their place. So,
Oh, boy.
yeah.
oh,
We
for
just
the
need
wind,
one-
probably. Yeah,
We just need one more person and then we can have a quorum.
There was a power outage around the lake. I didn't realize it was on on Montague Road as well. We haven't received notice of that.
He said something in his message about being the only one. I don't know what that means.
Oh,
got singled out, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. You didn't pay his electric bill, probably.
yeah, right.
Is
Oh,
there anybody
use
else?
the phone. Oh, I'm not sure if it's,
And Steve, I just talked to Penny. Steve Bressler is rushing home to try to be on this call. So I don't know about anybody else.
Linda Rotundi or,
Well, there's someone coming in with an iPhone, listed as iPhone.
Can the person on the iPhone identify yourself, please? You're muted.
Okay, I'm trying.
I think it could be Mary Lou. Oh, here's Robert.
Oh, yes, it's Mary Lou Conca.
Okay, thanks, Mary
and-
Lou.
You're welcome.
We're
I'm
just,
going in-
the planning board is next on the agenda, so we're gonna be talking to them.
I see, thank you.
Mary Lou, I'm going to change iPhone to your name, okay?
I got it, Becky, already.
Yeah, I was about to do that, but thank you, Becky.
Sure. So Rita, we do have a quorum if,
Oh, you do? Okay,
yeah, there's 4 of us.
all right. So we have Michael, Jeff, Nathan, and
Robert,
Robert Raymond just came in.
oh yeah, down there. Okay, so do you want to call yourselves to order? Do you have a vice chair, or since Deacon?
no,
isn't
but
here?
I'll do a Al Haig if that's okay.
You're dating yourself, Michael.
I'll
A lot of people won't know who that is.
I'll call the planning board to order.
Okay, and the select board meeting is underway. So the item on the agenda this evening is we've had 2 nominations for associate members of the planning board. And the process is that we give the people who are interested, so Jake Messier and Ashley Pycroft are with us tonight. And I don't know if anybody from the planning board just wants to give kind of a couple minutes preview. I assume you've met with the 2 candidates.
Anyone want to do it?
Excuse me, can I just check with, I'm sorry to interrupt. The Zoom user who just came in, is that you, Leslie? Just trying to keep track of who people are.
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, so does anybody from the planning board want to just give a quick overview, or do you want us to
I'll
just
just-
go right to?
Well, I'll just jump in, I guess, and then anyone can fill in. So we met, I guess, in November for round 2 of consideration of our associate members. And we got 2 letters of interest, one from Jake and one from Ashley. And similar to what they're going to do tonight, they presented a little bit about themselves. We asked questions, and I think most important of note, it was unanimous approval by the planning board for both of them, unlike last time where it was a split decision. So that's the most important thing to know.
Great, thank you. So Ashley, do you want to go first and just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hi, I'm Ashley Pycroft. So I've lived in Shutesbury for almost 20 years on Baker Road, and in the neighborhood before that, off and on since the late 90s, and grew up in Amherst locally. I am a very busy person. I teach high school and I'm a mom, and I've done my best to be involved with town government as much as I've had time for during the years that I've lived here, which has pretty much been attending town meeting, and also have been involved with the PTO at Shutesbury Elementary School. And we went through the whole process of becoming a 501c3. So I at least know Robert's Rules of Order. Besides that, I don't have a whole heck of a lot of experience with anything like what the planning board does. But I've become acquainted with the consequential decisions that this board makes just through the whole process of keeping an eye on possible solar developments in town. And I understand the need for an associate member just based on what I saw happening at town meeting, and have spoken with a couple members about applying for it. So that's why I'm here. I love democracy. I think I don't have a ton of time, but I like the idea of being involved. And I think that I can offer sort of a cool head, and I have a lot of experience dealing with the public. And I'm happy to take part in whatever the planning board is doing.
Great, thanks. Jake?
You're muted, Jake.
You're muted, yeah.
There we go. Sorry. Hi, everybody. My family and I moved to town a little over a year ago. We live at 250 West Pelham, and we moved in from Worcester. My wife and I both work from home. She works for Raytheon, and I own a small business, a marketing communications agency that specializes in arts organizations and nonprofits. So I sit on a lot of boards. I was the chairperson of the Trust Fund Commission for the city of Worcester, and several other boards in and around Worcester. And since moving to Shutesbury, we have been wanting to get involved with the local community, and we wanted to sort of take a minute when we first got here and sort of check out the lay of the land. And when the opportunity came up that said the planning board was looking for an associate member, I thought I'd jump at that. We're really, really happy to be here in Shutesbury. It's really, we've fallen in love with it a lot quicker than I thought we would. And we want to give back a little bit to the community as much as we've gotten in the past year we've been here.
Great. Thanks, Jake. Thanks, Ashley. So I just want to give the select board members, Eric or Melissa, do you have any questions for Jake or Ashley?
Well, one question I have, I guess it's for Ashley, but I believe in your application, you said you were a close abutter to the solar projects coming up. Then correct me if I'm wrong. My sense was that the reason we were having associate members was because some people would have to recuse themselves because they're abutters. So I'm just a little confused, that's all.
Yeah, so the plot that I live on Baker Road, and the plot that was potentially to be developed behind my home, for which I am a close abutter, is no longer on the table.
Okay.
I think there's 6, right? There were 6 in town, possibly, but this is no longer one of the 6. I think I don't know what plans are, but I'm pretty clear, and I think I want to say people on the planning board are as well, that this is not one that's slated for solar development anymore. Because otherwise there really wouldn't be a point, you're right. Or, there'd still be a point, but not for right now.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, just to clarify, Eric, they withdrew the Baker Road one. So there's 5 remaining. So at this point, I think both Ashley and Jake would not be abutters, as far as I understand it.
Now, can I just ask just a little off topic, but when you say they have withdrawn, I mean, what's the status of applications? Have any applications happened, or do we know there are any applications happening?
Let's do the vote first.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think you should ask the Concom, because that's really more where it's at right now.
Yeah, and that's sort of getting off
Okay.
topic here. So Becky, I saw Miriam's hand up, but Becky, did you have something you wanted to add?
I just wanted to double check about Jake's address.
It's 250 West Pelham Road. It's
250?
right. Yeah, it's right. It's the one house down from Leonard Road, Leonard and West Pelham.
Okay. I'm gonna just look and double check, make sure you're not.
Sure.
I know that the people across this, are you on the west side or the east side of the road?
I am on the west side of the road, I think.
You're on the
East
You're
side.
on the east side, Jake.
East side, okay.
I'm on the
I'm glad
west.
somebody knows. All right.
I'm on the west side.
All right.
Melissa, what number are you?
315.
Okay.
I'm on the west side.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Then
and
I'm an even
Melissa-
number. I'm the, okay.
Yeah, and Melissa is in a butter. That's why let me see if I can check that out quickly while you guys continue.
Did anybody from the planning board take a look at that?
We did not, but I mean, my personal sense is that if, unless someone's in a butter, has to recuse themselves for all, like when Michael Peel was expressed interest, he would have to recuse himself from every application. So that clearly doesn't make sense. I think because there are 5 sites and they're dispersed across town, inevitably there's a likelihood that someone might have to be in a butter for 1 or 2, but with 5 of them. So I don't think the planning board, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we were looking at it as we can have no one who's in a butter, because we could have another project from somebody else somewhere else. It's just the number of sites that one is abutting, that's the issue.
There's also a process that someone can go through that one person here tonight has actually been through, maybe two, that if you're technically in a butter, but are a long way from the actual project site, you can get a certificate from an appraiser that will have no financial impact on your property, and then you can use that to take away the necessity to recuse yourself.
Okay, so I just want to flag that that's likely what will be required, just from what we know of the surrounding areas, but I'll double check.
Yeah, well, if he is on the east side, then
I know Ellen McKay was on the east side and was also considered in a butter.
It would only be Pratt
He's
Corner
across the
East, though.
street from me. Ellen's across the street from me.
you have to be, if you're across the street, you have to be directly opposite the project, I believe. Donna, I see Donna, she knows. And if you're not directly opposite, I don't think you're in a butter.
It's the abutter of the abutter thing.
Oh,
But it would only be Pratt Corner East would be the only one. So it wouldn't be Montague, it wouldn't be Carver, it wouldn't be Pratt Corner South. And I'm spacing on the other one. So 1 out of 5, I think, is the only one.
Montague Road.
No, I got that one. Montague,
Yeah.
Carver, Pratt Corner South, which is at the bottom. And then there's another Pratt Corner, which is also farther down. So the Pratt Corner East is the one that would be co-located on the same parcel as Wheelock.
Yeah, it's hard to get away from Wheelock. So big.
Yep. And do you have, how many others are already had to abutters? I mean, yeah, how many other planning board are abutters on the Pratt Corner East?
We only have one person who has to recuse himself, and that's Nathan.
But that's not for reason of.
That's not for being
a
right.
butter.
Right, but that ultimately, that's all that matters, is someone who can't participate in the hearings.
Okay, so you're feeling that if he is also in a butter, he can cure it through the same process that others have cured it.
He could do that, or we could drop Ashley in for that particular project because she's not.
Okay,
So, we have 2 associates, we can use them strategically.
okay, I just wanted to talk about it before and not after. Thank you.
You all have a much better understanding of what I'm abutting and what I'm not, because we've been here for a year. So you just let us know.
Okay, so anything else from the planning board members who are here this evening, or the other members of the select board, before we go ahead and take a vote on the associate members for the planning board? I don't see any raised hands. And I'm trying to recall, Linda, how we did this, if the select board voted separately, or we just did one.
I think you did one vote, I believe.
Yeah, you just called on all of us.
I just call on all of you. Okay,
Yeah.
great, thanks. Okay, all those in favor of appointing Ashley Pycroft as an associate member of the planning board signify by saying aye, and I'll start with the select board. Linda?
Do you need a motion?
I do need a motion. Okay, do I hear a motion to appoint Ashley Pycroft as an associate member of the Shutesbury Planning Board?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and any further discussion? All right, so I guess I'll just go through the screen here and call your names to make it easier. Stalker,
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill,
Aye.
DeCiara,
Aye.
Lacy,
Aye.
Raymond,
Aye.
let's see, Murphy,
Aye.
Wrestler.
Aye.
Did I get everybody? Okay,
Aye.
great.
Aye.
You
Congratulations.
didn't vote.
Oh, Farrell, aye, thank you. Thanks, I forgot. There were so many people, I forgot. Okay, congratulations, Ashley. And do I hear a
Thank you.
motion? Do I hear a motion to appoint Jake Messier as the associate member of the planning board?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second. Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, we'll just go through the vote again and I'll call out your names. All those who are in favor signify by saying aye. Stocker,
Aye.
Makepeace O'Neill.
Aye.
Lacy,
Aye.
DeCiara,
Aye.
Raymond,
Aye.
and Murphy,
Aye.
Wrestler.
Aye.
Okay, great.
Carol?
Yeah,
Oh, Farrell, I'm sorry. Farrell, aye. Okay, and congratulations, Jake. And we are now just 2 minutes past 6:30. So I'd like everybody who is not part of the executive session to please sign off.
Before everyone signs off, I'd just like to make a motion that the planning board adjourn.
Second.
I'll second that, but I have an announcement to make before, if possible, as a.
We'll call that discussion.
Yes, under discussion of adjourning. Penny Jakes just called me and asked if I could mention to the planning board that we should please review the open space plan draft for our next meeting on the 13th and be ready to talk about it at that meeting.
Great. I also have one quick discussion thing, just to put it on the, I emailed Becky and Deacon and Rita today, because it seems like the land clerk position has been discussed but postponed at the last couple of select board meetings. So I don't know if there's any updates, but it definitely impacts our work. Any updates?
as I told Deacon a week ago or more, we had Adrian declined the position. She had delayed her response through a couple different interviews, and then when she was going to give me an official response on Monday, unfortunately, she accepted another job and turned us down. So we are, ads are back out and we continue to search. It's very unfortunate. She was a very special person and would have done an amazing job for the town, but she declined and took a different position.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so.
Real quick, I just want to offer my congratulations to Ashley and Jake. So thank you both.
Should we roll call out, you guys?
Thank you.
Yeah, yes, we should, Michael, yes.
Jeff, you want to say something?
No, I want to leave.
Oh.
Aye.
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 And I.
Murphy, aye. I think that's all of us.
Yep. Okay,
Okay.
thank you, guys.
Good
Bye-bye.
night. Congratulations.
Good night. Congratulations.
Night.
Okay, so we are moving into an executive session, and I just want to make sure I'm doing this correctly.
We have to wait just a few minutes. We still have Marina, who is not involved, and Sam Lovejoy is not involved. And we need them each to leave. Thank you very much.
Sam Lovejoy is the attorney for
Oh, I
Mary Lou
apologize.
Conker.
Good to know. We did not know that, Sam.
Yep.
Thank you very much. That's very helpful. And let's just review the list again. Okay, Donna, I just want your support, or if you can help us here. If, should we initially just be meeting with Mary Lou and have Miriam and Henry Geddes wait in the waiting room and for the initial laying out of the procedures, or should they be here for that?
No, they should leave.
Okay, thank you.
Put
So
them in the
Miriam-
waiting room.
Yeah. If you'll wait in the waiting room, Miriam and Henry, that would be very helpful. We appreciate your assistance in this process. I know it's unusual.
Okay, they're in the waiting room.
Great.
And are you turning off the recording?
Yes, 1 second.
First,
We
you
have
have,
to-
first you have to
to be
make a
an
motion.
open session.
You have to make the motion in open session.
Right, right. So do you want me to read the executive session reasoning and then? see
Not
if
yet.
we-
Let's move to go into executive session
Okay.
for reason number 1.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
And to reopen in
Return to
public.
open session.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to go into executive session for reason number 1 and to reopen the select board meeting at the end of the executive session?
So moved.
Second,
And we have to
Okay,
do
any-
roll call votes.
Okay, so Makepeace O'Neill,
Aye.
Stocker,
aye.
Farrell, aye.
Becky, now you can take the recording off.
Okay.
Linda?
Yeah, can I just have 1 minute to
I'm sorry.
switch files?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
So-
I'm okay now, thank you.
Okay, great. So we are back in public session, and the next item on the agenda is the continuation of the classification hearing with the Board of Assessors. And I see Mr. Kevin's here, and a couple of members. Misha, I'm not sure if you're part of the Board of Assessors or not. Do we know?
No, but Chairman Quackenbush is here and my able
Leslie.
clerk Leslie is here.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, so I know we were waiting on some approvals from the Department of Revenue, Kevin. So sounds like those have been received and everything's been reviewed and approved.
Yes, after looking through 152 files, we found the single file that was miscalculated.
Oh, boy.
It was quite an effort.
Yeah, yep.
But the good news is the DOR loved it after we got it done. So I don't know if the board got a chance to look at the document that I sent out earlier this afternoon, but I'll run you through it briefly anyway. This is the annual tax classification hearing that's required by state law for the select board to determine the property tax options that will be adopted for fiscal 22. There are 4 separate decisions for you to vote on: to have a single or a split tax rate, to adopt or not adopt an open space discount, to adopt or not adopt a residential exemption, and to adopt or not adopt a small commercial exemption. But before you decide on that, I thought I'd give you some background on how we got there. There's always two parts to the tax rate. One is the tax levy, that is the total amount of money being raised for property taxes. That is done by the voters at town meeting. The tax levy for this year, when all is said and done, and this is according to the DOR, is $5,303,264. Second is the valuation of property in town, which the assessors are responsible for. And it is risen to $242,944,116. That is $16,953,716 higher than fiscal 21, a 7.5% increase, primarily due to the rising real estate prices across everywhere. To calculate that, we not only studied all single family and other residential property sales for the calendar year 2020, we also went back to calendar year 2019 to broaden our samples. Even though we had an adequate sample pool for the DOR for the year 2020, we didn't have an adequate sample pool in every category of house, every style of house. So we went back another year to broaden the pool, which also had the net effect of lowering the percentage increase of values, which is important if you're a homeowner, obviously. So residential values by themselves rose that same 7.5% increase, not surprisingly, because they make up the majority of the town. So values rose by a total of $16,953,716 in the residential class. I'd like to point out that the rise in sales prices we saw in 2020 has continued through at least the middle of 2021, and the 2021 sales will be reflected in the fiscal 23 valuations. Other significant changes were a 21.2% increase in commercial values, which, although a large percentage, is only 378,457. That number is primarily, and I just say as a side, we don't think of Shutesbury as a commercial town, but the Department of Revenue classifies the Chapter 61 forestry, the Chapter 61 agricultural, and the Chapter 61B protected lands as commercial property. They increased the amount we can value an acre of forest land and farmland for fiscal 22, and that is the reason why we have a 21.2% increase. That is the majority of it right there. Industrial values rose by $19,344 or 3.6%. That is 99.99% attributable to the pilot agreement with NextEra and the lease that NextEra pays to WD Coles for the land. And just as an aside, I know you assigned the pilot at your last meeting to NextEra. I'm not sure everybody realizes, but NextEra's parent company is Florida Power and Light. So I just wanted to educate you on that. NextEra is their solar farm. Personal property increased by $600,466 and 5.7%. Interesting enough, the one place the town did suffer during COVID was we have a lot of what are called Class 501 or businesses run by one people. We lost quite a few of them during COVID. Probably 5 or 6, but that's enough in Shutesbury to bother. The $600,000 increase solely stems from the Department of Revenue mandating a new way for assessors across the state to vary gas and electric utility accounts. In Shutesbury, we have 2 accounts for National Grid and 1 for Eversource, and that increase is 99.99% attributable to them. Going back to setting the tax rate, Shutesbury's property tax base remains at 94.3% residential property and 5.7% commercial, industrial, personal property. That did not change from fiscal 21 to 22, primarily because we did not have any business growth. You know, the value going up is not adding a business or something that's taxable. You are allowed to have a split tax rate that shifts some of the residential burden to the CIP properties. Shutesbury always has made its single tax rate. And if you remember my comment about the Chapter 61 property, other than the 3 really commercial businesses in town, the junkyard, the excavating company, and the athletic club, you would be shifting the rate on all the people with Chapter 61 land. And I don't think that would sit well. Anyway, the single tax rates calculated by the levy, that was our 5,303,264 by the total assessed valuation of 242,944,116 times 1,000, and that gives you a single fiscal year 22 tax rate of $21.83 per $1,000 of valuation, which is a 78-cent drop from fiscal 21. Because values rose, the average single family home value rose by that same 7.5%. It went up from 250,434 last year to 269,151. And just so people know how you get that, you take the value of all single family homes, not all residential property, but all single family homes. You divide it by the number of single family homes, which is 749, and that gives you the 269 figure. I gave you a chart that says, although the values have gone up in 21 and 22 compared to 20, the tax rate has dropped 78 cents this year, $1.43 last year. So although people are paying more in property taxes this year than last year, it's important to note the average single family home is paying less than in fiscal 20. That's the combined effort of putting the money from free cash against the tax rate last year and the rise in values this year. The rate has dropped. Yes, values did go up, but you should be paying less than you did 2 years ago if you own a single family home. That's good news from a homeowner and an assessor standpoint. So before I give you the votes, do you have any questions about all the numbers I gave you?
Linda does.
Linda
Yes,
does.
I do. Kevin, I wondered if I might have the reports you're referring
I
to.
apologize. You know, when I signed on earlier, I said, you know, I've sent it to everybody. I saw you and I said, but Linda, I will send it to you right after this.
Thank you.
I did send you the 4 reasons.
Yes, you did. Thanks.
Okay. So you
So
have
Kevin-
you have 4 decisions tonight.
Yes, Kevin, I had a question.
Yes, I'm sorry.
So
Maria.
the 7.5% increase, is that then applied kind of across the board to all the properties? Is that?
That includes about a 6% increase in residential value.
Okay.
And the rest is in land increase. That is across the board for a residential property.
Okay.
It's just the way the economy went. You know, everybody at the beginning of COVID thought we'd have a real estate crash. And the only thing I can tell people is the assessors have been in touch all across the state comparing increases. Just to give you some perspective, my own town of Mendon, residential land and homeowner values are up 12%. You know, almost double Shutesbury. The average increase in Franklin County in house value is about the same. And if it's any consolation, there was a news article in the International Assessors Association online newsletter on Friday. The calendar 21 or fiscal year 21 to 22 increase in Boise, Idaho is 38.4% in residential values.
Crazy.
So let's feel good about 7.5. And I'll tell you, it could have been a lot higher. But going back that extra year and broadening the pool that we looked at actually lowered it slightly from probably the 8 range back down to 6 for just the property. And then the land had to go up. For perspective, we artificially lowered land values prior to me being the assessor, and land has not gone up in 4 years or 5. We had to bring it up. Otherwise, next year, which is our recertification year, you'd have a much bigger increase. So we adjusted it slightly, but the net effect is you still have a lower rate and payment.
So does that mean that we'll get more money from the state on the Terry sheet for the
No.
state
No.
plan?
No, I tell people because, the state values the land at whatever it wants to, and they pay us whatever they want to.
I see. Okay.
They appropriate, the legislature appropriates a pool of money every year. And they then go by 365 cities, towns, and whatever. And they say, Shutesbury, you are 2 point whatever, I'm making this up. Let's say you are 5% of all the land we own across the state, you get 5% of that pool of money. And it bears no relation to reality. The only time we know a real number is going in is when they acquire the property. Like when they bought the property on Stowell Drive 2 years ago for $308,000, they valued it at $308 that year. We have no idea how they value it next year, or the year after, nor do we have the resources to, quite honestly, appeal against their staff of hundreds of government-paid real estate attorneys. And I look at it as, basically, they give you what they give you and you say thank you and take it. One of my board members asked me a question last week, is the DOR ever wrong? And my answer is never. Even when they are, they're not. So that's an honest answer. Becky.
Could you talk a little bit about next year's valuation? What you see will happen next year?
Well, probably until about June or July, the sale prices were well continued what they did in calendar 20. They were well above our assessments. And I'm talking in one case, 200,000 or 300,000 above on one particular house. But that began to slow with the market as traditional. Once you get to July, August, September, being real candid in the real estate market, once people get their kid enrolled in a school system, the market dovetails off to the end of the year we have. It has across the country. They're still seeing competitive bids. We have not had a lot of house sales the way we did at the beginning of the year, with what I would call the outrageous difference between the assessed value and what they're selling for, but we've had enough. Values will go up next year. Because of that, how high I can't project right now. Just I know they're going up again. And it being a recertification year, the Department of Revenue will be examining our books far more intensely than they did this year. When, as we all know, if you've been talking to me over the past week, trying to get our valuation approved, I thought they were real nitpicky, but in the end, I'll say, thank you, DOR, you found a mistake I couldn't find. So there is a reason for having them. They are a good check and balances. It's just exhausting trying to make them happy. So
When does
Becky,
Kevin, when does the recertification process begin?
it already has for all intents and purposes. In my view, I've actually done part of it already. Last year, we did a personal property audit and got that up. I'll be taking steps in fiscal 22 to do things we need to do in 23, but the bulk of it will be 23. What happens is they want to make sure everything's at 100% full and fair market value. One of the more interesting exercises I'll have to do, being candid, is under the new solar bylaw, the climate change bill that took effect in June. One of the tasks I'll have to do now that we're hitting our 5-year recertification is I will have to prove to them that the Wheelock property, the status of the pilot is at 100% full and fair market value minus depreciation, or they may tell us to adjust the pilot. And every 5 years, when we do the recertification, the assessor will have to do that study to prove that the pilot is not giving them money or making us money, but is in fact on the mark. Now, that's not a hard exercise to do, and I know we're complying, but it's an added task from the DOR. They also gave us an added task this year that will continue regarding the new method of valuing the utility companies. And just to put that in perspective, that new method cost us $6,000 this year and will cost us $6,000 a year going forward, because there are only 4 consultants in New England that can do that valuation. I will say we got more than enough money out of the increase to pay for that, but it ate up half of the increase in taxes we got. But for all intents and purposes, given what COVID has done to the town, Rita, given that we have some anomalies that I've discovered in my 3 years, which is if you go down 1 or 2 roads in town and you look at a series of houses all built at the same time but have different values, we're going to have to do some intense studying on that to make sure everything's evened out. And quite honestly, the COVID rise in values is a natural time to do that, to make sure everybody's not getting overtaxed or undertaxed.
Yeah.
So I probably would have recommended doing it anyway with the rise in values, because it's been abnormal. And, you know, some people have gone up, some people haven't. It's, if you're putting your house on the market, I mean, the joke is a realtor will say, I could get you 500,000 for that house you paid 250 for 2 years ago. And the answer is, great, I'll take it, but what can I buy?
Right.
Because there's nothing you can afford.
Right.
But if people are selling, they're putting it on the highest price they can get. That is starting to drop. However, to Becky's question, Goldman Sachs predicts a 20% increase next year in real estate sales prices. Whether or not they're correct, who knows? There still remains a shortage of housing in this state and in the country. We still have, I'll tell you what stopped. The flight from the cities westward is pretty much stopped. We experienced some of that in 20 and 21. People coming in the Boston area, buying out here. The Berkshires and northern New England states got a lot of people from the New York City area coming out. That's slowing down because they all have their second houses. What's still continuing is the shortage of houses in general. The millennial generation is getting married and wanting houses. And my own oldest son lives that. He and his wife built a wonderful new house 2 years ago, just as they got married. And after working home in it for 18 months together, they decided they need more room because it ate up all the bedrooms and they have no room for the family they want to start. And it also is good for marital health not to be crammed in a small house together. So that's dying down, but the artificial price in materials, the so-called supply chain is still there. You know, a 4x8 sheet of plywood is no longer $100, but it's still way over where it was 2 years ago. And I don't know where the shortage is because on 202, I see trucks with lumber every day. And I'm talking finished lumber, not logs. So that continues and that will keep prices going.
So I want to see if either Melissa or Eric have any questions for Kevin or the assessors.
No, it's all very interesting, but I don't have any questions.
Okay, well,
So
then you
we
get
have
to the
four votes.
Well, you get to the business of tonight. If you did a dual tax rate, the net effect would be hitting up the small businesses in town, the second homeowners, the utilities, and the roughly 125 or more Chapter 61 properties. You've never done it before. Because of that, I don't give you any examples of a shift of 1% or 10 or 25 because it's wasting my time because it's never been done in the history of Shutesbury. The second is whether to offer an open space discount, but we don't classify land as open space in Shutesbury. That's also never been done. The third is a residential exemption that basically there's only a handful of communities in Mass offering. I believe it was 13 last year. They are all Atlantic coast and Cape oriented towns. We've never adopted that. And then you could exempt small commercial parcels employing 10 or fewer. However, only 14 Mass communities have adopted it and Shutesbury never has for two reasons. We don't have the commercial base to give it to.
Right.
Question, Rita.
So no, I don't have any questions. I'm ready to go ahead and,
Okay, and I just
Vote.
wanted to point out, you have 538,127 in excess levy capacity, which means you could have spent it and didn't. And if you had spent that on the tax levy, your rate would not be 2183, it would be 2404, back up where it was 2 years ago. So on the last page, I've given you your 4 motions, which I hope you
Okay.
have before you.
I think I do.
And Grace is here to verify that you're voting on them.
Okay.
I have them up
So,
on my screen, Rita. I can read them if you like.
okay, I have the 4 things. I just don't have it as a motion. Do you want to read them and maybe
Sure.
make the motion?
Sure. The first one, I move the select board vote to establish a residential factor of 1, meaning a single tax rate for fiscal year 2022.
Second,
Right. Okay. Any further discussion?
Mm-mm.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye.
Number 2 is I move that the select board vote not to adopt an open space discount for fiscal year 2022.
Second,
Okay, any further discussion?
Mm-mm.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye.
Number 3, I move that the select board vote not to adopt a residential exemption for fiscal year 2022.
Second,
Any further discussion?
Mm-mm.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye.
And the last one, I move the I move the select board vote not to adopt a small commercial exemption for fiscal year 2022.
Second,
Any further discussion?
Nope.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye.
If, Rita, if I could add one thing.
Sure.
Unlike past years, no members of the selectmen need to sign anything anymore.
Okay, that's good.
Grace and Jeff will, but I'll be in touch with you tomorrow morning. I expect that the DOR will certify the tax rate by the end of the week, if not sooner.
Great, great. That's
So I
good. Well,
wanna-
thank you for all of your work, Jeff, Kevin, Leslie. We really appreciate it. And
Just throwing a plug for Leslie, because with my new schedule, without Leslie, none of this would be possible, because she's keeping everything day to day ready for me. And when I come in on the weekends, there's a little basket ready for me. I plow through and then I do what I need to do. So I just want to give her
Great.
a plug to everybody.
thanks,
Good job,
Leslie.
Leslie.
Well, thank you, Kevin, because we wouldn't be able to do it without you. You're so smart. My part's
Okay.
easy.
And Linda, I will send you this right as I sign off now.
Perfect.
So
Thank
do we
you.
need to close this hearing?
You probably should.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to close the reclassification hearing?
So moved.
Second,
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye. Thank you all for
Thank you,
coming.
folks.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so did we do minutes? We didn't do minutes.
We did not.
Okay. So why don't we do those and then we'll have a brief but thorough town administrator report.
Talk fast.
So do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of November 17th, 2021?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Tucker, aye.
Farrell, aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of November 23rd, 2021?
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Tucker, aye.
Farrell, aye. Okay, so the last item, town administrator updates.
Okay, so I received an email today from Shane from Coles. And can everyone see this? I'm not sure.
Yeah, can you just move it up a tiny bit?
Yeah, there we,
Yeah, that's good.
better. Okay, so this is their more formal surveyed drawing of how they would like to put in the easement. It's kind of upside down from what we usually view it. Leverett Road is on the left-hand side. And the easement itself is coming in from the right, and it's in pink. This is the highway department, and here is the building that is currently on the parcel that we will own. Our town building that we built on their property. And this is the landing area there they have proposed. And again, you recall that originally we were thinking we had to go through here as they had done in the past. That required a town meeting vote. So they are now asking not for a town meeting vote, they're just asking for the select board to approve the easement as it's drawn here. And I'm presenting tonight in case this is very straightforward and can be approved tonight. If you need more thought or more time about it, we can postpone to another meeting.
I guess since it wasn't on the agenda, I feel more comfortable doing it at a meeting, having it on the agenda. You know,
Sure.
it should be brief, but I'd rather have it on an agenda than take a vote
Sounds
this
fine.
evening.
I agree with Rita.
Yeah,
Are
I
there
think we'd want to
any-
make sure the abutters were happy with it, just not that it makes a lot of difference. But yeah, a future meeting would be good.
Are there any changes that you would like to see at that future time? Any concerns or any presentation that you don't think is clear?
So as Eric
Yeah.
pointed out, did the abutters get notified, or, I mean, would they?
Well, as you recall, the abutters are the Watkins who asked for all of this to happen.
Right.
And the other abutter is Michael
Pill.
and Carol Holtzberg and Michael Pill, who were involved in the process,
Right, okay, good,
both of whom are well aware of it.
okay,
Okay.
all right, great.
Okay, so on to the next thing. The COVID-19 policy, thank you, Rita and Eric, for signing it last time. I just want to alert you to the problem. I started a conversation with Arlene Reed because of a COVID case in town. And the result of that, it became clear that Arlene had not participated in any of the review of the policy and would like changes to it and clarifications. I just received 6 different screenshots with notes on them. So I don't have it rewritten for you tonight with all her suggestions, but I will have it for our next meeting. My question for you is, should we try to put it on the agenda and squeeze it into the Wednesday night meeting or hold to the 21st?
Remind me what the Wednesday night meeting is.
It's the meeting with the finance committee and the school to talk about the
Oh.
strategy for the regional
Oh,
meeting
right,
on Saturday morning at 9.
right. So that's this Wednesday at
5:30.
5:30?
Yeah.
How long do you think it's gonna take? The review of this, the COVID, I mean, the change is substantial.
Probably 10 minutes.
Okay. I
If
don't
we
know.
have ahead of time, Rita, if we have it ahead of time,
Yeah,
it might make it
yeah.
shorter. You know,
Yeah, I'm okay. If you can get it to us ahead of time, then I'm okay
Okay.
with getting it on.
The tricky part will be it segues into a finance committee
Oh.
meeting.
Right, if we can't start earlier.
Well, well, let me send it out. We'll put it out.
Okay,
I'm
Well-
afraid to start earlier because Melissa is.
what day is Wednesday? It's
already
Wednesday,
5:30.
right?
Yeah.
I'll
and
need
you
traffic.
already can't change, it's beyond the 48 hours, right?
That too.
So.
So maybe the
What
best.
put it
time
on
is
the
that meeting?
agenda.
What time is the meeting on Wednesday?
5:30 or 5:45?
5:30.
5:30.
5:30, I have it down as, yeah. Okay,
So let's just do it at the next meeting, our next regular meeting then.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And I just wanted you to know I told you early, there was 250 homes at the lake that were out, but Melissa confirmed there was one house on Montague Road.
Yes, I have a particular house I'm watching for lights out until I get a generator. So I had to check after he said lights are out. Like shit.
Is that just this afternoon from all that wind?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
probably. He has got some long lines from the road out to his house, so it probably took a line down. But yeah, I had to check because I was worried about Lady Slipper Lane. And I know, Rita, if you were on, it was likely that you were not.
Right.
But still.
Yeah.
The last update I have is on Cape Way Roofing. Unfortunately, we've been looking towards the holiday vacation in hopes of not having snow so that the roof can get replaced. I received a letter this afternoon that they can't get the materials to do the roof in time. They're not going to make it till January. So that's a real disappointment, one that I thought you would all want to know about. So we're talking April again.
Yeah. And what's happened with the leak that was ongoing a couple of weeks ago?
That was due to driving rains, so it's stopped for now. But I was also shown the window that the building committee is talking about trying to fix and replace.
That slider thing?
Yeah, it's in terrible condition. The wood is just falling apart. So hopefully that can get done before too long. I know Bob was having trouble finding anybody to do it. So that's still a problem. And there's a new spot in the gym floor. There's about a 5-foot by 8-foot section that when you walk on it, it's near the Matt Foster's door. But when you step on it, it's very squishy. It seems to be separating from the main flooring, and he's looking into how to repair that. The good news is he's found original wood pieces in one of the sheds that he cleaned out that can be used to rebuild that section when we get after the gym roof is repaired. But it's, we've been hanging on by our fingernails for a long time, and things are starting to show damage. But hopefully.
Any good news?
No, I don't have any good news.
Okay.
well, I have heard no PFAS update. That's good news if that's true.
That's true. We're still waiting on.
Unless we should have had one.
No, that's good news. Well, our 2 new young officers are doing very well.
That's good news.
Good. That's great.
Yeah. That's
Okay. Thanks, Becky. So do I hear we're going to meet again on Wednesday night at 5:30 with the school committee and finance committee. in preparation. Looks like Saturday's meeting is now 3 hours instead of 2. Did you see
No, I
that?
didn't actually read it.
I
didn't
did
look at
see,
the
I
agenda.
noticed that.
I did too.
I did. I looked at the start time. That was the one I had to focus on that day.
Yeah. Okay, so do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Make peace, O'Neill. Aye.
Stalker eye.
Carol, aye. See you all on Wednesday.
Okay.
Not
Good night,
me.
everyone.
Thanks.
Not you.
Take care.
Bye, Linda.
Yeah, have
Good
fun,
night.
Linda.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Night, have a great
Bye.
visit.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow, Becky.
Yes, I'll see you. And I'll, yeah.
I
Well, they
mean,
don't need to get here till Wednesday because the warrant won't be ready.
right, but I'll bring everything in, sometime tomorrow.
Okay, sounds perfect.
Okay, all right, bye.